Mama, don't hurt me, she pleaded. In the vibrant village of Mbano, where markets burst with color and warm smiles greeted you at every corner, there was a festival that captivated the hearts of all, the Iwakwa Festival. Celebrated once every 3 years, it was the pinnacle of anticipation, marking a significant milestone for young men as they transitioned into manhood. Under the guidance of the senior age grade, these initiates embarked on a journey of discovery, immersing themselves in ancient customs and traditions. The main market display was the peak of the Iwakwa, where the young men, wrapped in long, colorful wrappers tied at their waists, danced gracefully towards the market square. Whistles dangled from their mouths and their hands clutched symbolic Dane guns. They were followed by their immediate younger age grades, dressed in vibrant uniforms, cheering and clapping in a mesmerizing array of display. For Nnamdi and Ojugo, this festival held special significance. They had eagerly anticipated introducing their 6-year-old daughter Kosi to the rich cultural legacy of their ancestors. Kosi had never been to the village before and was unfamiliar with its customs. They believed that this festival would be the perfect opportunity to introduce her to the beautiful tapestry of Mbano's traditions, especially because Nnamdi's brother, Chukwudi, was participating in the Iwakwa ceremony. The day of the festival dawned bright and full of promise. The village buzzed with anticipation, with the rhythmic drumming echoing from almost every compound as young men prepared for their grand dance at the market square. The air was thick with the scent of roasting meats and fresh palm wine, and colorful garlands adorning almost every compound. Kosi, get your sandals quickly, we are running late. Your uncle will soon leave, Ojugo called, her voice a mix of urgency and excitement. Kosi's eyes, wide with wonder, fumbled with her sandals, her small hands trembling with anticipation. She had never seen anything like this before. The vibrant colors, the loud drums, the smell of food, and display of clothes and colors. It was all so new and exciting. As festivities climaxed, Nnamdi and Ojugo, caught up in the euphoria, became engrossed in the crowd's energy. They danced, sang, and greeted old friends they hadn't seen in years, their laughter mingling with the music. The festival was a sensory feast. The air was alive with the rich, earthy scent of the village harmattan soil, mingled with sweet, smoky aroma of gunpowder. The sun cast a golden hue over the scene, making the vibrant costumes shimmer as if the dancers themselves were a part of the light. "Kosi, come here," Ojugo called, her voice filled with warmth. "Do you see those young men in the beautiful Ankara? One day, your cousins and brothers will be part of that too. Today, we celebrate your uncle Chukwudi," she said in excitement. Kosi too was mesmerized. Her eyes darted from one spectacle to another, taking in the rhythmic beats of the drums, the dance and display of the masquerades, and the colorful costumes worn by the celebrants. Her small hand slipped from her mother's grasp as she pointed excitedly. "Mom, look at that!" she exclaimed, her voice tinged with awe and delight. She tapped her mother's arm and pointed to a dancer in a brightly colored costume who was spinning and leaping acrobatically amidst the cheers of friends and family. The dancer's movements were fluid and hypnotic, his costume a dazzling array of reds, golds, and greens, catching the light with every spin. Ojugo laughed, her heart swelling with pride and joy. "Yes, my dear, that's the joy of Iwakwa. But for now, we need to go find your uncle Chukwudi," she said, her voice barely audible over the loud noise of drums and cheering. She squeezed Kosi's hand, drawing her close, but as the crowd surged forward, Kosi's grip on her mother's hand slipped. Nnamdi and Ojugo, caught up in the excitement, didn't notice as Kosi was jostled away from them, lost in the sea of people. Kosi, who was still enthralled by the dancer, took a few steps closer to the dancer, not knowing that her mother had moved along. After the thrilling dance, she looked around her, only to notice that her parents had left her. Her heart sank in worry as she started to frantically look for her parents. "Mom! Mommy! Where are you?" she screamed, her voice barely audible over the mixture of drums and cheering. There was a lot of strange faces dancing and cheering excitedly, and none of them were familiar to Kosi. She sighted a woman wearing the same color of blouse her mother had. Her heart leaped with joy as she frantically ran to meet her, only to realize the person was not her mother. Tears rolled down her eyes as the crowd moved heavily, each shoving and pulling her. Suddenly, Kosi's heart leaped as she heard a voice call out her name. Relief washed over her as she turned, only to realize it was her former nanny, Erimma. Erimma, who hailed from her dad's hometown, had stayed with them for a while. She had been sent back to her village because of her cruel nature, quick temper, and tendency to beat Kosi at the slightest provocation. Unknown to Kosi, Erimma had harbored a deep resentment towards her parents for disgracing and dismissing her so abruptly. She had been waiting for the perfect moment to exact her revenge. Erimma was not someone Kosi was fond of, but in that moment of fear and confusion, she was the only familiar face Kosi could cling to. "Auntie Erimma," Kosi called out in tears. "I am looking for mommy and daddy," she said, walking towards her with a strange mix of familiarity and unease. Erimma smiled, but it was a smile that didn't reach her eyes. She gently took Kosi's hands. "Really? What happened?" she asked warmly, bending down to Kosi's level. "We were going to see Uncle Chukudi and I lost them. I've been trying to find them ever since, but I don't know my way," Kosi sobbed. "Let's go find them," Erimma said. "Don't worry, even if we don't see them, I will take you home safely," she assured, her voice dripping with false kindness. Kosi wiped her tears, feeling a flicker of hope that she had finally found help. As Erimma led her through the bustling square, they walked amidst the crowd for what seemed like an eternity. Unknown to Kosi, Erimma was intentionally leading her in circles, feigning a search for her parents while secretly enjoying the chaos. Kosi's small legs began to ache and her energy waned. "I'm tired," Kosi said, her voice weary. "Can you just take me home?" "Of course, dear," Erimma replied, her smile turning even colder. She began to lead Kosi away from the bustling square, her grip tightening around the little girl's hand. Kosi followed, her trust in Erimma slowly waning as they moved further away from the heart of the festival. The vibrant sound and sights began to fade, replaced by an eerie silence that made Kosi's heart race. The paths grew darker and Kosi's unease deepened. "Auntie Erimma, this doesn't look like the way home," Kosi whispered, her voice trembling with fear. "Just trust me, Kosi," Erimma said, her tone menacing. "We are almost there." Meanwhile, Nnamdi and Ojugo continued to enjoy the festival, oblivious to their daughter's absence. It has been 6 long years since they visited, and they were super excited at the sight of so many relatives who had come around for the ceremony. The festive atmosphere had them completely engrossed, reminiscing with old friends and family. It was until they returned to the main square to watch a special performance that they realized Kosi was missing. "Kosi! Kosi!" Ojugo's voice was tinged with rising fear as she scanned the crowd, her heart pounding. Nnamdi's eyes moved frantically, searching everywhere in the sea of people. "Where could she be?" he muttered, panic creeping into his voice. Back with Erimma, Kosi began to feel uneasy. The familiar paths they had taken in the morning were becoming less unrecognizable as the sun set, casting long shadows across the village. They arrived at an old abandoned house on the outskirts of the village. Erima led Kosi inside and locked the door behind them. The air was thick with the smell of mold and decay, and Kosi's eyes widened with fear as she looked around the dimly lit room. "Why are we here, Auntie Emma?" Kosi asked, her voice trembling. Erima's smile twisted, her eyes shining with malice. "Your parents, they think they are so perfect, don't they? They took everything from me. My dignity, my family's respect. They disgraced me in front of everybody," she whispered, her voice dripping with bitterness. Kosi's heart pounded in her chest. But why did they do that?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Erima's eyes gleamed with anger. "They said I was a bad influence, that I was wicked to you. They humiliated me and sent me away," she spat, her voice full of venom. "Now, I will make sure they never ever see you again." Kosi took a step back, her small frame trembling. "Please, Auntie Erima, don't hurt me," she pleaded, tears streaming down her face. Erima's smile widened, cold and heartless. "Oh, I won't hurt you, Kosi, but your parents, they will feel the pain of losing you, just like I felt when they sent me away," she said, her voice icy. Kosi's mind raced, searching for a way out. "Maybe we can talk to them. Maybe they will understand and forgive you," she suggested, her voice shaking. As the festival's vibrant celebration fades, the suspense grows thicker with each passing moment. Little Kosi is trapped in the clutches of Erima's dark revenge. Her parents' desperate search becomes a race against time. Will Kosi escape the clutches of her vengeful former nanny? Will Nnamdi and Ojugo find their daughter before it's too late? The next chapter of this gripping tale holds the answer. Subscribe now, turn on the notifications, and join us on this heart-stopping story. The twists and turns are just beginning. You won't want to miss a single moment of the drama, suspense, and moral lessons that await. Please stay tuned for the thrilling continuation. Bye!